Hi, welcome back to the channel Tarot Yogi. I'm Vinit, I tarot intuitively, and today we have another timeless picker card reading on are you a mage, are you a mystic, or are you an alchemist? So we have three piles to choose from. Pile number 1, we have the Alchemistic Woodcut Tarot. Pile number 2, we have the Thoth Tarot deck. Pile number 3, we have Spellcaster's Tarot. So take a minute, see what pile is being called to you intuitively. The description box below will have the timestamp for your pile. And again, remember, these are general readings, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot. It helps the channel grow. And if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below. So you can definitely reach out for a private reading, and I'll see you guys in your reading. Thanks. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose the Alchemistic Woodcut Tarot, this is your reading on are you a mage, an alchemist, or a mystic? So we are asking angels, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended master, star family today. What is my pile number 1? Are they a magician? Are they an alchemist? Or are they a mystic? Okay, pile number 1, we have Page of Shekinah, King of Alchemists, 3 of Shekinah, King of Mages, 9 of Alchemists, Knight of Mystics, 2 of Shekinah, the Empress, and the Strength. So to answer the question, are you a magician, an alchemist, or are you a mystic? I would say you're sort of all three at the same time. And let's break it down what I mean by that. I do feel you're very well versed in the practice of magic. You know, you could very much be a spellcaster. You could do spells. You could do manifestations. Or, you know, you could even dabble into some very dark magic too, you know. I don't judge that, you know. So you're definitely someone with a very magical disposition. And you're also very good at alchemizing things. I think you have been purposely put into situations where you had no choice. I think you were purposely put into a lot of dense energies, even in your past life. And I think this is something that's being carried forwarded right now also. You know, so you sort of have been made the martyr, I would say. Or, you know, you at times feel like a martyr, I would say, because, you know, you circumstantially have been blocked and put into situations where you have no choice but to sort of understand that, you know, your magical abilities can only take you so far, and what you need to truly move towards is mysticism. And I feel this very lifetime is sort of dedicated to mysticism. You know, that's what your soul really wants you to focus on, or whatever you believe in, you know, no soul, you know, your consciousness. So you have this inherent nature where you're very focused on understanding the world around you and sort of gaining knowledge through that around you, you know. So you're very curious, and you really enjoy the mysteries, you know. You definitely enjoy contemplating the mysteries, but I think you also inherently understand that there will be certain things that you just cannot understand, you know. So I would say, like I said, you know, you are sort of like a magician and alchemist, moving towards more of mysticism, I would say, because I think you have reached limits with your magic, and I think you've also reached... So I think you've learned everything you had to learn about alchemy, and I think you finally understand that there is really more, and you want to really understand the more, because I think you understand that you only know so much, you know. So you could very much be into scribing, you could very much be into gaining knowledge, gaining different kinds of knowledge, you know. You could be interested in astronomy, astrology, alchemy, all of it, you know. But what is going to really benefit you in this very lifetime is the more you sort of go towards mysticism, which is basically you going inwards, you know. So you're going to have to be okay being alone for a long period of time by yourself, you know, because it's very important to sort of gain the spiritual insight necessary, you know, on the path of mysticism. It's really about going inwards. So for you, I would really recommend, you know, you have a plethora of things you can check out for yourself. You know, I think yoga would be very, very, very helpful for you, you know, because yoga is basically mysticism. Or you could maybe try Tai Chi. You could even try other modalities of healing, like maybe pranic healing, maybe Reiki, things like that, you know, meditation, basically dhyana, you know, just sitting and meditating and things like that. That's going to really benefit you, because I feel a lot of y'all have already achieved what you had to materially, and I think, or a lot of y'all are in the process of that, but sooner or later you will realize that it's just not cutting it for you anymore. And what you truly need is, in a way, you know, higher states of consciousness, or even God, whatever you believe in over here. You know, your soul is almost craving this need to really merge and be one with, you know, God, universe, whatever you believe in. So you have to really focus on that. I think that's where your salvation truly lies, in mysticism. You know, you could very much even be interested into Sufi and things like that. But you know, it's a general reading, and you know, it's a reading for thousands of people. So maybe check out your local mysticism. I think that will be very, very beneficial for you. And I think you understand that labels are very, very limiting, and you don't really want to limit yourself, because you know, you could like let's take me for example. I've been practicing yoga for 9 years. You know, I was sort of on a more mystical path, and now I find myself reading tarot, which is pretty much the opposite of the mystical path, you know, because in yoga we say that, you know, if you're basically showing off with your psychic gifts, it's basically getting in the way of what you're truly trying to achieve, which is, you know, a yogic union, or, you know, merging with God, you know, however you want to sort of phrase it. You know, it really goes against the principle, because in a way it sort of feeds your ego, you know. So I think you really have to focus on not feeding your ego, and learning to even keep your ego outside, and still understanding that, you know, you could very much be into mysticism one day, and you could very much choose to, I don't know, become a dark magician, you know. So you also carry so much paradox within you. You know, you have layers, you have depth. So don't underestimate on any of this. You know, I think your goal in this lifetime is to move towards more of meditative states, you know, like higher consciousness. And you're also going to be able to use all the tools you have learned in your magic and your alchemy, you know, just being able to transmute things. I think you're going to be able to apply your sense of transmutation to conflicts, and you're going to be able to really, you know, rise your consciousness to a higher level. You know, you may even help people doing this. You know, you're very balanced. You're very balanced internally, and therefore it's reflecting, you know, externally. You know, that there's a lot of balance within you. You know, you very much tame the polarity within you. You know, and it's again sort of like a prerequisite. You need to move towards a more mystic path, which is totally for you. I think you're very stressed. I think you're very, very stressed about the time you have on Earth, you know, and I think a lot of y'all do want to make sure that this is your last life on Earth, you know. So I would say, I haven't read the other two piles, but you know, given the energy here, I would say you have the most probability and a chance of actually making that happen, where you don't really have to, you know, be reborn in the cycle of death and rebirth on Earth, you know. So you can make it count as your last rebirth, you know. But don't stress about the time, you know. I think the less you stress about the time, the better it'll be for you to come more into alignment over here, you know. And I think what you're also going to do is you're going to apply all these more practical, hands-on, magical alchemy techniques to actual mysticism, you know, where you're really trying to understand the unknown, and you're also understanding that there will always be a part of it that is going to remain a mystery to you. You know, you could even be interested in cosmology very much. You know, we have Two of Shekinah, and it basically shows you the map of Earth, heaven, and hell, you know. So, and I think you have been born in all of these realms, you know. So I think you have that, you almost have that shamanic understanding of all different dimensions and worlds, you know. And I think you very much have a choice if you want to teach or just continue doing your practice. You know, and I do see a lot of y'all just choosing to not teach and continue doing your practice. You know, not everyone has to teach. You know, it's a natural calling. You know, sometimes you get a calling to teach. Sometimes you get a calling to just do your own spiritual, mystical practice. And I think the more you focus on your own spiritual practice, the more you have boundaries, the more you're comfortable being alone. You know, I think all of that is going to really benefit you in a very major way. You know, and I do feel you will be very triggered on this path. You know, this path is not easy. I would say the path of mysticism is more difficult than, you know, like magic or alchemy, because, you know, you're still sort of trying to fortify yourself in the real world. You know, mysticism is you in a way giving up on the world, you know. So it's very important for you to know that, you know, this is like the green signal for you to go as deep as you want into the rabbit hole over here, because it's going to really benefit you. And the more you just contemplate and the more you're able to have a bird's eye point of view on things, you may be seeing feathers, birds, things like that, so just use all of that and really zoom out and really understand what is it that you're here for, because you're here for a very, very special mission. And I do feel you have put a lot of people ahead of you in your past, people pleasing tendencies, all of that. But at this point, you really have to put yourself first. Even Buddha, even Siddhartha Gautama, he had to sort of leave his son and his wife behind to really pursue his spiritual, mystical path, and I feel you will be put in a very similar predicament, maybe later on in your life, so it's really a choice you have to make, because I'm telling you, you're going to perfect the material world in this lifetime, but it's going to leave you so unsatisfied that you're just going to be like, why did I even do this? And the reason for that is for you to go a little deeper, to really get on your own mystical path of your choice, and there's levels to mysticism. You cannot understand universal love and universal connectedness if you cannot understand love one-on-one, in like a romantic sense. Even Buddha sort of had to fall in love in order for him to, transcend love itself. He had to sort of fall in love with a human being first, so he could transcend that and just fall in love with the emptiness of it all, right? So I do feel your journey is not easy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because in a way you signed up for this, pile number one. You really signed up for this, and just know that you will find the strength the more you walk this path. It's not going to make sense in the 3D world, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve. People may even call you crazy. People may say you've really lost it, and maybe you have. Mysticism is about, in a way, giving into your madness also. So I think you have to understand that no one is going to really get you, and you shouldn't expect people to get you, because it's taken a lot for you to get to where you are right now, so it's really a choice. If you want to teach, if you want to, help other people ascend, or do you want to ascend in this lifetime, and it's a difficult choice to make, it's a difficult choice to make, especially when you see a lot of suffering and ignorance around you, so you have to be very clear and then stick to it, because even on the Empress card, she's sort of at a crossroad over here, and she's already achieved her material success, and she's wondering, what do I do? Should I continue doing magic? Should I, walk the path of God? And I definitely see you walking the path of God, because we have the Strength card, and she's quite literally riding the lion over here, and she's using her knowledge of the sun and the moon, and she's pouring it into her heart, so honestly, the only path for you is mysticism, whether you like it or not, and sooner or later you will realize this, that just being around people, just any kind of happiness is still laced with suffering, and I'm talking about absolute truths, something that we as humans cannot even understand. But this is something you're going to be contemplating perhaps in the future, and like I said, I think yoga would really benefit you. And I'm not just saying that because I've been a yoga teacher. I teach yoga. That's not the point that I'm saying this. But I truly believe that going down the yogic path will give you the necessary answers you perhaps need, and you can still like maintain your own religiosity or spirituality and practice yoga. Yoga it's kind of Hindu, but it's also kind of not Hindu, so you can definitely choose the kind of practice you want to have, because everything said and done, eventually what you have to do is sit in one place and meditate for hours, weeks, days, months. That is what your soul is really here for, pile number one, whether you want to hear that or not. Let's be very clear on that, and you will be able to succeed on this path, even if your environment is not conducive. It's purposely so, you learn to meditate in like maybe a noisy place. I'm just giving an example over here. Even Buddhist monks, they had to meditate on like a rotting corpse. So I think really go crazy, maybe do your own research, maybe do some research into Buddhism, maybe do some research into yoga, do some research into Tai Chi, you know, whatever you feel called to, you know. There are a lot of Japanese meditation practices as well. There's Zen also, right? You know, so give all those things a chance and a try, you know. Because you will find answers there. Or, you know, if you're like not from the East, if you're from the West, like I said, you know, research your local mysticism. You know, there's a reason you have been born into a certain lineage, a certain race also, you know. So don't underestimate that, and I would say really go crazy with this pile, you know, because you will be able to come up with answers that no one possibly can, you know. And it's really up to you if you want to share it or not, you know. So it's basically a lot of power also, you know. And I think you do understand how much power you truly have. Pile number 1. Any other messages? Shuffle some oracle. Anything I missed? Okay, we have the horse card, which reads freedom. Your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. You know, horses are very, very strong. They're very, very powerful, but they're also very, very, very spiritual. You know, people would have like horse sacrifices back in India, like historically, you know, and there was also this sense of you leaving your horse out into the world, and, you know, the horse would cover territory, and you would sort of have to subjugate to the ruler whose horse it was if you don't want to have war, you know. So it's really about mystical and spiritual conquest for you, pile number 1. You're going to be able to really overcome a lot of things in this lifetime if you choose to, you know. And having said that, it's really a choice. You could very much choose to live a very 3D material life, and nothing wrong with that either. But I think even if you do that, somewhere in the back of your mind, you will feel incomplete. You will feel as if, you know, just something is wrong. You know, even if you have like the nicest car, the nicest person to be married to, the nicest kids, the nicest homes, whatever you have, you're going to be so discontented with yourself that you will have no choice but to leave it all, you know. And you will be finding that strength, you know. So don't worry. Like I said, you know, it's not going to make sense for you in the material world to really pursue what you want to pursue right now, you know. But in a way it's your destiny. And you can also, having said it's destiny, it's not like written in the books, you know. You can very much choose to not follow your destiny, you know. There are people who do that as well, but I guess it really boils down to your own choice. And what you need to know is you will only find the courage once you go down the path, you know. And these things change you, you know. I would say these things really change you. Even when I look back at, you know, everything that I've studied in yoga, in a way it has only even helped me further with like my tarot practice, for example, you know. So you're going to be able to mismatch and take all the knowledge you have and really decide where you want to go with it, you know. Do you want to transmit it to other people? Do you want to keep it to yourself? You know, all these questions are really coming up again and again, you know. So you do have a very big role to play if you choose to play. Pile number 1 is sort of the message again, you know. And you're very tenacious, you know. You're also very psychic, you know. You definitely have a lot of psychic gifts as well, you know. Your crown chakra is very active, and even your third eye is very active, you know. It's not difficult. It's not easy being this. I can totally relate to you, pile number 1, you know. So I think just keep your eyes on what you truly want over here, you know. And just understand that even out of destruction there will be beauty created by you. So don't be afraid to break down your old structures that you have built for yourself, putting in so much effort, because I do feel eventually you will have to do that, pile number 1, whether you want to hear that or not. Any other messages? Yeah, that's all I have for pile number 1s. Again, it's a general reading, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot. It helps channel grow. And if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below. So you can definitely reach out for a private reading, and I'll see you guys in the next reading. Thanks. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose the Thoth Tarot, This is your reading on, are you an alchemist, a magician, or a mystic? So we're asking angels, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended masters, star family today. What are my pile number 2s? Are they a magician, a mystic, or an alchemist? We thank you for these clear, concise, and accurate messages. We thank you for always guiding us, especially when we need it the most. Okay, pile number 2, we have Knight of Discs, the Hermit, Nine of Cups, Queen of Wands, the Emperor, Princess of Cups, Ace of Discs, Six of Cups, and Knight of Wands. So I would say pile number 2, you're definitely a mage, a magician, or a witch, however you choose to identify. And what you would be really good at is manifesting. You have this innate ability to manifest things into material reality, and you understand the laws of nature, and you sort of learn to balance yourself out. You just inherently understand what is required of you to really manifest what you want, and you may not even think about it because it just comes so naturally to you, so I feel you must have practiced some form of witchcraft in your past. And we have Hermit over here with Cerberus, so I would say you definitely have some connection to the underworld, or you've had a connection to the underworld. You could even be drawn to darkness. You could be, you could function better at night, for example. You could be my night owls, but you have this ability to even go deep into the abyss. The Hermit is basically, entering hell, metaphorically, so to speak. He's sort of on the verge of giving up parts of himself to be like completely tattered, torn apart, and to be reborn, to a higher state. And you have this ability, You also understand certain laws of alchemy and Kabbalah, but I would say your strength lies in creation. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, anything in the middle. You have this ability, this divine feminine ability to create whatever you want, or you just attract whatever you want. And you're definitely my natural born leaders as well. So I would say this pile, you're definitely like my public speakers, or you could be a public speaker if you want. You could read tarot for the collective, do astrology, teach yoga, whatever you want over here, but you're meant to have a more domineering life. This life, at least, we have the Emperor, we have, Knight of Wands, which is basically King of Wands, and we have Knight of Discs, which is King of Pentacles, so you're meant to lead people, you're meant to have an effect on the collective, you're meant to even teach people, Pile number 1, I was getting, they pretty much had a choice whether they want to teach or not. But I would say your this lifetime specifically is to teach, and I would say the more you start teaching, the more you start sharing your knowledge, the more advanced you'll become. You will never be able to understand magic completely if you don't practice, or you don't sort of speak it into existence, share what you have, and you definitely are a keeper of knowledge over here, and you're very, very magical. Come on, we have the Queen of Wands, and in the Thoth tarot, Queen of Wands, she sort of represents alchemy herself, but she's sort of chosen to be this in-between woman, who doesn't have black hair or blonde, but she sort of has like this beautiful scarlet hair, and you straddle liminal space very well. Like I said, you're not afraid of going into your own inner underworld, because you have this ability to bring out gems. And you also don't get swayed, you stay in your feelings. You could have prominent Pisces placements in your birth chart, but see what Pisces placements you have, or 12th house, 8th house placements you have. I think that will give you certain answers about yourself. And I would say you're a magician who's able to do alchemy. I think that's the best way I can describe you, pile number 2, because you're inherently a magician. You understand the laws of nature, and you bring yourself into balance internally, externally, and therefore create that change. But you also use alchemical methods to really transmute and transform anything that you don't want. So you I would say, even if you're not very magical or whatever, I would say it would translate in a very real world way, as you would be very intelligent, you would be a great problem solver. You would just know what to say to whom. You could just channel information to people. You could even be very good with sales or something like that. Or you could be very even good with people. you know, and this is basically coming from your magic, and this is coming from your ability to shift things, transmute things, and really create something beautiful, you know. You're meant to create in this lifetime, you know. I would not say, pile number 2, you're not meant to like go into the Himalayas and meditate and leave everything behind, you know. That was, I would say, more pile number 1. But you're meant to really create heaven on earth, and you're sort of, it's sort of your mission, pile number 2. You know, whether you choose to do it magically or not, but you need to know that you have magic with you. You can use magic in a very powerful way, you know, and you have the aptitude for magic. You know, it's like how Mariah Carey has the aptitude to sing. You know, not everyone can sing like Mariah Carey, right? So you have a very similar aptitude to magic, and you're supposed to use your magic. You know, so don't be afraid of it. Don't, you probably may have had some conditioning or whatever, which has really put a block at your own energy and really realizing who you are. You know, I've done a who you are reading, so please check those out. You may have certain messages, but you're meant to create, you're meant to transform, and you're meant to bring things in the real world, you know. So I think the best way, like I said, I can describe you as, you know, a magician who understands the rules of alchemy and can transmute whatever they don't want, you know, and that's very powerful. That's very, very, very powerful. I would say you're also very stubborn, you're very strong-willed, you're very level-headed, you know, you're very headstrong, you know. You're not going to really get swayed by trends, what people do, you know. You're going to keep doing what you do, and I would say that really helps you, you know. And I feel a lot of y'all in this pile, you probably haven't been able to create what you want or to the success that you want, and I think the trick with you is to never give up, you know, because your manifestations will come in, you know, and certain things were just not working out because they were not for you, pile number 2. Even if you see that or not right now, you will realize it much later on that you were meant to create better things for yourself, you know. So I feel a lot of people in this pile would have a lot of regrets about dreams that they did not follow. But I just want you to know that you will eventually follow your dream in a more bigger, grander way than what you even thought was possible for you. You know, so don't underestimate your magical abilities, because you have them, because you are a magician. And the thing about magic is your magic works according to how much you truly feel your worth, you know. So your self-esteem really comes into play when it comes to magical practices. What you feel you deserve, all those things are very, very important, you know. So really work on your own self-esteem, work on, you know, if you don't feel good enough, why is that, you know. All those things are very important, you know. Do shadow work. I have 2 shadow work readings on the channel. You may also want to check that out. But I feel the more you'll clear out way for yourself, the more you'll just naturally fall into alignment, you know. And like I said, you're meant to have great things in this life, you know, great material things, pile number 2. And I feel a lot of y'all may have been put into circumstances where you don't have a lot, so you would be forced into creating, you know. It's like any typical superhero movie, right, where they don't have a choice, but they're cornered by all these goons and enemies, and they don't have any choice but to be triggered into using their power. You know, so I feel that is very much the story with you, pile number 2, whether you like that or not, you know. And don't underestimate your ability to transform as well, you know. Don't be stuck with things that you're not happy with, because you're meant to transform things, and in a very major way, you know. So don't underestimate any of this, you know. Don't underestimate your gifts is really the message over here, because you're going to be able to create, and you're going to be able to create a lot, you know. You're going to be able to create more than an average individual, because it's basically what your soul signed up for, is what I'm really picking up over here. Any other messages? Shuffle some oracle. Anything I missed? Wow, like, come on. We have butterfly, which reads rebirth. You can reinvent yourself, open to the rewards of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. Come on, this just confirms everything I've been saying about, you know, you transforming things, you alchemizing things, and you're still using magic, you know. So, and we have a lot of purples and blues on this butterfly card, and you know, when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, what it's also doing is it's basically changing its element from earth to air, And in the material world, to do that, you need mastery. You need mastery of both alchemy and magic. You know, that's what butterflies basically are. You know, so really think about that. I feel you will be able to get certain answers for yourself. Just thinking about the butterfly symbolism, because, you know, I think what you also do is you probably water yourself down to be around certain people to keep everyone happy, but it's not your job to keep everyone happy. It's your job to do your best and not worry about who it's rubbing the wrong way or who you're upsetting, who you're not upsetting. You know, so the more you learn to stand up for yourself, the more stronger your magic will get. And like I told you, your magic is very linked to your own self-esteem, your own, you know, how much you really value yourself, things like that. You will only get and create what you feel you deserve. So remember this, and you only deserve the best, pile number 2. You know, so don't forget this. I think that's really the important message over here, because you're really meant to transform from like a earth creature to an air creature. You know, and that's a very intense, it's a very intense arc of transformation, right? So you have a lot to do, pile number 2, you know, so buckle up and pace yourself. You don't want to burn yourself out doing all of this great work. Any other messages? Yeah, that's all I have for pile number 2. Again, it's a general reading, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot, it helps the channel grow. And if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below. So you can definitely reach out for a private reading, and I'll see you guys in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Spellcaster's Tarot, we are going to ask Spirit today for you, are you a magician, an alchemist, or a mystic? And yeah, it's Spellcaster's Tarot, but we'll still see. Angels, ancestors, spirit guides, the Sun Master, Star Family, help me tap into what is my pile number 3. Are they an alchemist? Are they a magician? Or are they a mystic? Okay, pile number 3, we have 3 of Cups, Judgment, 4 of Cups, Page of Pentacles, World, 4 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so what are you, pile number 3? Are you a mystic? Are you a magician? Are you a alchemist? What do you think? I would say you're definitely, you're somewhere between an alchemist and a magician, definitely, with some abilities to also practice mediumship if you want. You know, you definitely have mediumship abilities. Let's start there. You know, we have the Judgment card, and the way I read Judgment is, you know, you're getting messages from the other side, you're getting messages from loved ones who have passed on. You know, so you're extremely psychic. You know, you're extremely psychic. You definitely feel things that are probably not there. You know, maybe when you were younger, you could probably see entities, things like that, you know. It's definitely this spooky, witchy pile, you know. So, pile number 3, what I want to say is, I feel in this lifetime, you're supposed to learn magic and you're supposed to learn alchemy. I think that's where your focus should be, on learning things. You know, I would say pile number 2 was a little more intermediate in their alchemy and magic, but this pile, you're supposed to learn about your abilities. You're supposed to learn about all the things that, you know, you never thought you would be into. You know, like, believe it or not, there was a point in time where I wasn't into tarot, you know, and at this point, I just cannot imagine my life without it, you know. So, and I feel you will have that very extreme sort of, you know, growth from like being completely out of spirituality to being like a cult leader, you know. I'm just being funny, you know. So yeah, I'm not just being funny. I definitely feel when you truly realize your potential, whether it's in magic and alchemy, you know, you will be able to help people, you know. And I think that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to learn to sort of alchemize your own life. You're supposed to, you know, have your own personal sort of rags to riches moment, and you're going to help other people also do that, you know. I'm not saying everyone in this pile is like, you know, doing really poorly for themselves, but I do feel a lot of people in this pile have been placed in circumstances, maybe in families, in neighborhoods where you had no choice but to really find your way out of that, and really find your way out of that system. And, you know, you're a very heavy alchemizer also, you know, and there is some mysticism to you as well. I'm not saying you're completely out of touch, you know, you definitely have mysticism, but I don't feel this life for you is about going and finding those deeper truths in this life. you're supposed to create heaven on earth with what you have been given, and a lot of y'all could be tarot readers in this pile, maybe practice astrology, even be mediums. I'm getting very strong mediumship abilities over here. My eyes are just going to the judgment card over and over again. But another way to even read this judgment card specifically is, you have this ability to even transmute things. You almost, I would say you're combining magic and alchemy, because you understand the laws of creation, but you also understand the laws of transmutation. So you understand that you don't always have to create something new. You can even transform what is pre-existing. And I think a lot of y'all are going to master that in this life and just apply it to everything, to physical things, material things, to people also. And then I think you will be even able to apply it to like consciousness itself, where you'll be transmuting your own consciousness, so you're meant to work hard, you're meant to create a lot of things, and I do feel circumstantially this pile, you've had a lot of difficulty, you've dealt with some really, really difficult individuals, which no one should ever have to deal with, so my heart really goes out to you. But understand your power lies in realizing who you are. And who you are is a combination of an alchemist and a magician, And I'm not saying you have to limit yourself to these identities, but just tapping into these archetypes is going to really help you empower yourself and realize your own power. Because I feel a lot of things what you're going to be doing is just realizing your own power and understanding that all this greatness was already within you. And I would say you would be very good with earth magic. My eyes are going to the page of pentacles, and we have a lot of pentacles energy over here. And I would say you're not just good with earth magic, you're very good with creating things in the material reality. You're meant to almost create an empire. Not almost, you're meant to create an empire. Pile number 3, you're meant to create, even if you're not very spiritual, you could even want to maybe work in the corporate and be your own CEO one day of like a company, So I'm also getting that energy in this pile. You're meant to have a very strong effect on people, and you're meant to work and focus on communities especially. You're meant to lead people also is what I'm getting, So keep working hard. I think the more you keep practicing, what is hard work and mastery, it is just repetition of your craft, your skill, whatever you choose to do. Like a lot of y'all could be into tarot in this pile, a lot of y'all could be into astrology, a lot of y'all could just be like manifestation coaches or something, But whatever you do, keep to it, stick to it, don't waver off your path, even if you feel you're not getting the success right now, success will come. And yes, you're more of an alchemist and a magician or a witch, but what will help you, what will really help you even in the material plane is perhaps giving meditation a try, like find different kind of meditations that work for you. You don't have to sit and meditate, even though this dude on the card is sitting and meditating, if you can sit and meditate, I would say you're super advanced. But if you can't sit and meditate, if it's too much, if your legs are shaking, if your mind is wandering, exhaust yourself. There are meditations that are meant to exhaust you, so you don't have a choice but to quiet your mind also. So don't give me excuses about I can't sit and meditate, because again, you're just limiting yourself, and why waste time? Because you're meant for greatness over here. And I think what meditation will do for you is it'll just help you come into balance. It'll really help you recalibrate your own inner elements, because you cannot create when you're sort of not in balance, and I feel a lot of y'all are messengers in this pile, like it's not just alchemy and magic, you're also meant to heal people, you definitely have very, very strong healing abilities, and I feel you also have this wounded healer archetype. And to that, what I would say is you're not going to heal if you ever think that, oh, I can only heal people if I'm completely healed. No, you will only heal in healing other people, because somewhere you do understand that we are all connected. And, it's like the more you sort of remove like the mass consciousness trauma, your own personal trauma will not have as much grip on you as it used to. So this pile, I would say, is there's also a lot of healer energy. You're meant to, I would say you're a magician and an alchemist with a purpose to heal. You're meant to use your gifts, realize your gifts, then use your gifts. And then get really efficient with your gifts. the Nine of Pentacles in this card, which comes after 8, so there is progression. I feel right now, you feel as if you're cornered, no one understands you, no one gets you, everyone is against you. And I do think that is true to a great extent also. But it's like in any of the superhero movies, right, where the hero has no choice but is really triggered and to have to use their powers. They don't really have a choice. And I feel this is happening to you right now. You're being completely cornered, you're like Superman just before he realizes he can fly and like shoot laser guns out of his eyes, So I do feel you're going to have a lot of intense transformations as well, and I think you're meant to work with duality. I think you're really meant to work with duality in this lifetime. You're not supposed to transcend duality per se, but really embody duality itself, and I feel this will give you wings. I feel this will give you metaphorical wings because you don't realize how powerful you are because you haven't really given your power a try. And I feel circumstantially you will have no choice but to give your powers a try, and I relate to you in a lot of ways because I used to be here, pile number 3. I've really been here, and it's super confusing when you don't really know who you are, so you may want to check out who are you reading. I've done like 2 of them on the channel, so definitely check them out. It's in the Timeless Pick Card playlist, But understand that even if you're super spiritual and you don't want to have a very worldly life, you're meant to have a balance in this life. Please understand this. Like I said, duality. You're supposed to practice magic alone, but you're also supposed to give magic to other people and help them realize the magic within them. So you could even strongly be a teacher over here. Pile number 3 is what I'm getting. And like I said, we have this very natural progression of 9, 8, 9, So you're meant to create your garden. You're meant to be alone for a while as well. I'm picking up a lot of single energy in this pile as well. And I would say, choose to be single. Please don't settle for some just horrible garbage, any sort of crumbs any person gives you. You're meant to be with someone very, very special who will acknowledge your own inner magic and your alchemy. And I feel your partner is also supposed to be a magician, a witch, or an alchemist in some capacity. Maybe not at your level, but in some capacity they are also very magical and very alchemical like you. I'm getting elements a lot. So I if you don't know where to start with your magic, where to discover things, start with the very basic elements. Start with earth, start with air, fire, and water. Start with those very basic elements, and really just become those elements. Maybe go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. You may have a lot of you may get a lot of downloads just watching that. I feel that will help you understand certain laws of magic and alchemy that you're really trying to master, because your goal in this lifetime is to master alchemy and magic, and the only way you're going to be able to master those things is by creating something very tangible for you in this life. So I'm also picking up a lot of escapism in this pile. I'm not going to lie. I am sensing a lot of escapist tendencies. So just know that in a way it's wasting time. Yes, you get downloads, but if you stay stuck there, you're not going to be able to use your downloads. You need to have a very real world ripple effect. Please understand this. You're very, very powerful. And the more you discover yourself, the more you discover your own power, the bigger the ripple effect you will be able to have on people. But there's a lot of boredom in this pile. Like, I really sense your boredom, pile number 3. And to that, I would say is, again, find things that excite you. Maybe learn new magic. Learn to practice different kind of magic. Maybe give some evocations a try. Be a good student. Be a perpetual novice. It's going to benefit you in major ways that you can't even imagine. And remember, you're meant to have a voice. You're meant to affect people. You're not meant to be alone forever. You're meant to bring all this knowledge into the world, And you're meant to build an empire, whether you see it for yourself or not. You're meant to do this. And you're going to do this in this lifetime, So nothing to worry. You're not running out of time, Right now, just focus on perfecting your magic. We have 8 of Pentacles, And I think 8 of Pentacles is a very important card. It's a very major card because it really makes or breaks something. Your own inner practice will make or break your magic and your alchemy. Your repetition, your ability to be disciplined, your ability to have delayed gratification, all these things are very, very important, And 8 of Pentacles is, again, Virgo. It's Virgo energy. Virgos are very meticulous. They pay attention to the details. they read the fine print, all of that. You know, really try to embody that Virgo energy, whether you are a Virgo or not. It doesn't matter. You know, see what Virgo placements you have in your birth chart. See what planets and houses are there for you in Virgo placements. You know, I think it'll be very beneficial if you are able to, you know, go in a very structured way about how you do your magic and alchemy. Because you're meant to use those things to create something very worldly. So don't forget this. Your great work is going to be seen by a lot of people, whether you like it or not. You know, so being an introvert is not an excuse. Being shy is not an excuse. None of that. You're meant to be seen in this lifetime, whether you like it or not, pile number 3. So honestly, just buckle up and brace yourself, because once you start this, you know, it's gonna change you forever in the best way possible. You know, and you have a lot to look forward to. Even if right now you feel you're very defensive, no one gets you, blah, blah, you know, don't give those things energy. Focus your attention on learning right now. Become the best magician, the best witch, the best alchemist you can, because you're meant to do it. I would say even dabble in Kabbalah. I think Kabbalah will be very, very beneficial for you. Just understanding the structures of things, you know, because that will again help you create your own structure the way you want it. You know, you're meant to be a very benevolent leader in this life. Using your magical and alchemical skills, transforming, you know, get a wand. I feel someone in this pile wants to get a wand, you know, so maybe get a wand. My eyes is just going to the wand in the judgment card, you know. And like I said, you're very close to spirits. You're very close to your spirit guides, angels, ancestors. You get messages from the other side, you know, so it's a personal choice if you want to be open to it or not. If you feel open to it, just put it out into the universe that I'm ready to receive and accept messages from the other side. I'm ready for it. You know, just put that out into the universe if you feel you're ready. You know, if you don't feel you're ready, if you feel you get very spooked out, maybe don't. You know, so again, it's a general reading. It's going to apply very differently to everyone as to where they are in their journey right now. Just know that divine is very close to you, cannot make mistakes. You know, you may be seeing feathers. Just know you're also very, very protected. And you're meant to create your wealth. You're meant to create your abundance, your stability by, again, creating something in the real world, using your magical abilities, whether you want to identify as a magician, witch or not. You know, you're meant to create. And you're meant to create using things not just of this earth, you know. You're really meant to sort of really pull spirit down, you know, from the ethers into the material world and create a beautiful transformative structure which will stand the tests of time. You know, you have big shoes to fill, pile number 3. You know, so pace yourself. It's going to be very beneficial, important. Also, please ground your energy. I feel a lot of you are very, very ungrounded. So please ground your energy. It's going to help you. It's going to benefit you. And even working with fire, you know, maybe give fire scrying a try, or maybe scry in water, all those things. Work on your psychic gifts, because you have them. And they only become better with practice and with time. Trust me. Get out of your funk. Get out of your boredom. Because again, it's just wasting your time and it's wasting your potential. And you have great potential, pile number 3, whether you want to see it or not. You know, I know there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of inner conflict going on in this pile. I can definitely sense that. You know, but you're just standing in your own way. I think you understand what needs to be done. You know, so just do it. Just do it, pile number 3. Shuffle some oracle. Come on. Okay. We have the Moose card, which reads wisdom. Let your head and your mind reach to the stars. You keep your feet grounded on earth. Listen to the ancient wisdom in your soul. The ancestors speak through you, you know much. Like I was saying, like this just confirms everything that I have been just going on and on and on about in this reading. Just know you will thrive in the harshest of winters. You're going to thrive in floods. You're going to thrive in the famine, because you can still create whatever you need in that given moment. And like I said, you know, the moose especially, you know, they have these really huge antennas where in a way they're channeling all this information, right? It's almost like an inverted pyramid, you know. So just know you're getting a lot of divine downloads and you're meant to use them. Escapism is not going to be the answer for you. Being meticulous, being very disciplined, having delayed gratification, and really sticking with what you're trying to manifest is going to take you even beyond what you could even imagine for yourself. You know, your potential is truly limitless. And I said this in pile number 2, you know, your magic and your alchemy, it really depends on how you view yourself. You know, how's your relationship with yourself? Do you really love yourself? Do you have like good self-esteem? Do you have high self-esteem? Do you let people run over you? Do you like not let people respect your boundaries? All those things. You know, learning to be a little selfish is going to benefit you a lot. You know, learning to put yourself first is going to put you in a better position to actually help other people. So stop being a martyr. I know a lot of people in this pile are being a martyr. You know, so just realize that that is just a waste of time. You know, and it's just really taking away from what you're meant to do, which is create a beautiful garden for yourself. And stop being so bored. Again, I really feel that's the message over here. Stop being so bored, you know, and use your boredom. Even your boredom is a great thing, you know, because if you're bored, it means you just cannot keep going on the way you have been. Something has to change, you know, so bring in that excitement with your own magical wand. You know, you can do it. You can very much create that for yourself. And just know you're gonna thrive, you know, no matter what is happening around you. And that is like the real test for you as a magician, as a witch, as an alchemist. Because you have these traits and you're meant to tap into these archetypes in this life to really get to where you need to be and create whatever is required of you. So I feel this pile particularly would be dealing with a lot of lack mentality, poverty consciousness, all those things. Please let it all go. It's just like getting in the way of, you know, you creating a beautiful life for yourself under any circumstances. It doesn't matter. You're going to rise above it all. And you're going to be very headstrong and, like I said, create heaven on earth. You're going to pretty much do that. Any other messages? Yeah, that's all I have for pile number 3. Again, it's a general reading, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot. It helps the channel grow, and if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below, so you can definitely reach out for a private reading. And I'll see you guys in the next reading. Thank you.